Hey guys, this is Ephram McNutt, your Pats captain, number 55 defenseman. Thanks for tuning in.
McNutt, a stretch pass, deflected in for Ruslan Karimov. The Russian, Eglin throws it on goal from the line. Blocked, rebound, Deschamps scores! Deschamps strikes his first WHL playoff goal. On the power play, Fawcett over to Lancer, changes spots to the slot, he shoots, scores! Zach Lancer with his third of the series. What a shot from the high point on the man advantage. In behind the attacking net, Brown, a pass in front, almost found Karimov, who has 3 in this series. Karimov takes it away in the slot, he scores! Ruslan with goals in 4 consecutive playoff games. They have quiet this sold-out Medicine Hat Co-op Place crowd. What a shot by Ruslan. Hamilton sends it up the left wing side, tipped ahead for Karimov. He'll drive in, gets around the defender. Karimov stopped, rebound, scores! Ellis Miette! What a play by Ruslan Karimov to drive to the front of the net, get around the defender Riley Steen, down on his knees, shot is stopped, and the rebound cleaned up by Miette. Right wing side, it's Basha. Down below the right wing circle, Ruck up top, one-timer, Pickford, what a save by Schlenker as he gets over quickly and stops it. And a big-time save by Merrick Schlenker as he holds on to that puck.
Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. It's episode 237. It's April 6th. It is spring season. We are done, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Disappointing end.
Didn't go out with a whimper.
Didn't go with the whimper, but it was a disappointing end.
Crushing.
Boys can be proud. They showed Medicine Hat has a bunch of weaknesses. They're not as strong as they were last year, I don't think. They're strong, but I don't think they're as playoff strong as they were last year.
Yeah, no, that's hard to say, right?
But yeah, because they lost one game to Swift Current, I believe, last year in the first round.
Yeah.
And then pretty much wiped the floor with everybody else. So maybe the Pats gave them a little bit of a lesson and
Yeah, maybe they got kicked
don't
in the
be
butt.
stupid and walk through everybody else.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, the way that game ended, that was a tough, after playing a really, really good almost 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Even the third period, they were hanging on for dear life.
They were hanging on, and you knew Medicine Hat was going to push, right? You knew the Pats were going to be, in their end for most of the period.
And they were for...
And they get 6 shots that period? Like
the Pats?
Much. Yeah.
3 in the third?
3? Okay. Yeah, 3 shots. All of 3 shots. Yeah.
Yeah. They were hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, just the way it went down. Like, oh man,
especially having the 3-goal lead twice. So disappointed. I feel bad for the guys. Like, they played so hard.
Penalty too. Like, that penalty was kind of weird. Fawcett got called for, what did he get called for? Hooking. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, they kind of went down in a heap, and then they called the power play, and then that was at 13:55, and the Pats had made it that far through the period without giving up a goal. You knew Medicine Hat had all the momentum going into that period after the way they finished the second, which was
when they scored that.
I messaged you, oh man, give it up a late goal, less than 2 minutes to go, and then they scored again, and I was just
they scored again. That was
we were both just like, oh my god.
That was the crushing part. Like the tying goal, that was bad. Like that was the bad bounce. But those 2 goals at the end of the second, the first one, okay, get out of the period, down 2 or up 2, you're fine. You can hang on. But then 5 seconds left.
Yeah, that's, and it was too bad because Schlenker didn't see the pass across. on that one.
Yeah.
And like it was a wide open net. Like watching it live, I was like, "What happened?" Because the net was wide open. What went on there? And then they show the replay from behind Schlenker, and he goes down on the pass,
Yeah.
and then that's easy pickings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Look at the positive things. Deschamps, like he opens the scoring with a minute into the game, right? Just a shot
Yeah.
from the point. That seems to be like the theme of this game. Deschamps, then Lancert scores one from the point. Then the Pickford one, and then the overtime winner Parr. They're all just shots from the point, right? Guys just
Yeah.
putting it on net.
Yeah.
Um, but
That seemed to be
Karimov,
a story of this whole series. Lots of point shot goals,
mhm.
especially against the Pats, which is unfortunate. But it just seemed to be long distance shots that
Yeah.
either they got stopped in front and then like Wu or whoever got the quick rebounds in the
Right.
earlier games,
Yeah.
or they just beat the goaltender. It
Mhm.
just
But there was screens
yeah,
like you
there's so
said,
many
like
legs and stuff.
yeah, like that's what you got to do, get to the net. Like
Yeah,
um I think it's the Deschamps goal. Paul was right in front of the net, or maybe it was the Lancet goal. I can't remember, but Paul was right in front. And like, really, how are you gonna see anything through that guy, right?
yeah.
So
Just obscure the goalie's vision and hope for the
yeah,
best.
um, and then the Karimov goal, that was a nice little shot. Like oof, like we talked about before last show, he's really stepped it up, and
Oh yeah,
4 games or 4 goals in 5 games in this series,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
um, yeah, and then Miet, his goal, a nice play by him just to kind of trail the play,
yeah.
and
Follow up.
Karimov follow him up. He does all the hard work, and then you see two guys puck watching Karimov, and Miet's just there to tap it in. He's a goal he'll score in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, so like there's lots of positives. Like they had a strong 2 periods of play, right? And then
Yeah,
um, yeah,
38 minutes and 18 seconds.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, just to give up one, whatever. But yeah, that second one was just killer,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they didn't, going into the third period, like they didn't let it snowball, right? It's not like
No, definitely not.
they didn't just fold the tents.
Yeah,
Um,
hung on. They hung on.
so yeah, it's disappointing because we didn't have much for expectations going into the series, but like they got heightened, right? You get that win
Oh
in game
yeah,
two.
exactly.
Game three was whatever. It was an 8-2 game, but it wasn't an 8-2 game. And then you lose 4-2 in game four. Or like that was a good game. Like we said, they were right there. They played with Medicine Hat. They probably outchanced Medicine Hat in that game.
Yeah, for sure.
This game five was probably a little more equal. I mean, the Pats obviously had the bulk of the chances, I think, in the first half, and then Medicine Hat kind of took that over and late in the second into the third.
Yeah,
But I mean, like I said, they were right there, so it was just disappointing, like that they played so hard, and then to lose it on, not lose it, but like give up the tying goal on that bounce, right? Like I went back and looked. It wasn't even the Zamboni doors. It was just the regular glass. Like,
just took the weirdest bounce.
yeah, and
Can't even describe it.
I know you don't even see that much anymore because it's the seamless glass, right? You don't
Yeah,
get the stanchions sticking out of the glass anymore, so you don't see that too much, right? You see
yeah,
it
for
off
sure.
like a door, like in the corner sometimes, right? Like
Yeah,
the Brand Center has some doors in the corners and stuff, but
or
like,
like in Swift Current where they have the weird bounce behind the net. The one where the opposition plays the goal twice. They shoot it off the back wall and it bounces right in front. They got like a
okay,
spot
oh,
on
is
both
there?
sides.
Okay,
It's pretty crazy. Yeah,
of
they've had that
course,
for years.
yeah. Yeah, that's an old rink too, and then obviously Medicine Hat's a little newer, but yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, it's just too bad. I just felt so bad. Like I was just,
Oh yeah, for sure.
man. So
And who's to say though if they wouldn't have scored that goal, like they could have poured it on. There was still
yeah,
like
they
what
were on the power play, right?
4.5 minutes left, something like that. So it might have felt worse if they wouldn't have scored that and just did it the hard way.
I guess there was only actually 20 seconds left in that power play, so they'd almost killed it.
Yeah,
Actually,
almost.
now that I look at the time, so
Yeah.
They'd almost killed that penalty, and that would have given them a boost. Kill that penalty, yeah. But who's to say they didn't tie it up with the say they pull the goalie and there's a minute to go or whatever, right? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, just to come
because
off
there's still
that,
four
right?
and a half minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that
but yeah, and
was
then you go to overtime, and I missed the play. I saw the goal, but you said there was an icing, and then they lose the draw, and it's just the guy circles and puts it in from the point, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah, I stepped away for 1 second, and the game had started, and I walked in, literally just watched the goal go in. And I was like, oh, so that was just crushing. 51 seconds in, like, oh man, like, ah.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, that's all, folks. Unfortunately, yeah, it was a good 5 games. You know, talking with staff and players today on the final media availability. They seemed, obviously they're down for losing, but you know, they seemed pretty upbeat the way they played and the way they, handled Medicine Hat, or didn't get blown out by Medicine Hat like most people were expecting, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was nice to hear from from Brad and Dale and Ephraim about their thoughts. They didn't really talk about the game too much. It was more of the season with their year end media stuff. But yeah, I'm just disappointed for the players. Disappointed that they didn't get another chance to redeem themselves from that game. But
Yeah, like Brad said, come back here for game 6, and you never know what happens, right? Maybe the Pats can pull another one out, and then
yeah,
it's
for sure.
game 7, right? So, but we'll never know, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you got from this game? Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a good game. Kareemov scoring, Lansard scoring, like you guys that you're gonna have back next year, like huge pieces
Hopefully
for
have
next year. Yeah, hopefully.
with Kareemov.
Yeah, you never know. Guys could anybody could go. I saw an interview with Sean Clouston in Kamloops, and he's like, yeah, you just never know. You just kind of got to ask guys straight up, are you coming back next year? Like
Yeah,
before
for
you
sure.
just before you just expected guys back. Now you can't assume anything, and
Yeah.
like yeah, both these guys could be gone. You never both one of them, neither of them. You don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
Just you have no idea.
Like, but the only guys I think you can expect back are like the kids, obviously, and
Yeah.
then like say the 16s, like Paul
Yeah.
uh, and whoever else is 16, right? So because really, once you're 17, you can go to school next year or like the next season. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so see what happens. But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else. Kind of just
Uh Nice on the Tigers staff to give Ephraim McNutt first star and Caden Brown second star their last
yeah.
games, which was I thought that was very, very classy of them.
And it doesn't always
So
happen in playoffs. Like it always
no,
happens
definitely not.
in the regular season if it's the last game of the season and you're
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, that was really good. I like that. So
It's pretty classy of them, I thought.
yeah, I know Dante mentioned, Ephraim and Basha. They've got a relationship that goes back a while. They played together years ago at Saha and stuff. So
Yeah, they were the first group at Saha, I think he said.
okay, yeah, and
So
then yeah, so but yeah, there's a picture of Ephraim and Willie, a big embrace there. So it's
yeah,
not just the usual, just handshake, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
but yeah, no, it's tough, but yeah, so yeah, kind of move on to these interviews. Like you said, we talked to Brad, Dale, and Ephraim. But yeah, I kind of what's your takeaway from these interviews here? Well, we're gonna play them for you. And then yeah, so if you can listen to them, and then but yeah, what's your kind of takeaway here?
Uh, it sounds like they're excited for next year. They were excited that the team battled to make it to the playoffs since the Christmas break. There sounds like there's going to be some changes because Kenny Schneider's retiring.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's
the
a
news
big
of the
thing.
day. Yeah,
And yeah, uh, yeah, that's pretty much just listen to them. You'll get the idea of what they said.
Yeah, and my kind of takeaway was Dale was really, like, we talked to him, post trade deadline, and he wanted kind of the stability that wasn't there the last couple of years, and he said he was confident in this group, and yeah, maybe some people were a little disappointed that they didn't make an ad, but they didn't make an ad to take away something from this team, or draft capital, like Brad mentioned, that they completed their goal, this season, to get into the playoffs and play meaningful games in the spring here, and they did it without sacrificing anything,
Yeah,
and so that was good. And yeah, like I think a guy like Ephram, like it sounded like he could have left. There was maybe a trade on the table for him, and he was willing to stay. So that kind of speaks to his character, like that he wanted to stick it out here and
for sure.
help this team get into the playoffs and have somewhat of a run, because he knew it wasn't going to be a deep run, right?
Yeah.
So that just speaks to his character and his leadership qualities there. So that was an interesting kind of tidbit that I thought was quite noteworthy.
Definitely.
But yeah, other than that, like I said, the team, it's exciting for the next couple of years here, as long as both guys stick around.
Things fall into place. Hey,
yeah,
could be
right?
an interesting year upcoming.
Not to bring up probably a bad memory, but going back to that loss and that bounce that happened, how do you stomach that, and how do you tell the guys that, hey, bounces are going to go, and you sort of lose a season on that fourth goal?
Yeah, I think, Taylor, one thing I've learned the last couple of years here, just with the rebuild and stuff like that you really got to let go of the things you have no control of. We didn't have any control of that situation. That was in the cards, or that was God's plan. So, I've seen that goal happen before, never in such a big moment. And it just, I guess one thing that I've learned the last 3 years coaching this team and stuff like that is really just put your emotions into the things that you can control, and things that you can't control, you just got to let go and move on. And it was no one's fault. It's just something that happened that we got no control over.
Because when you look at the series, especially that game, you have to be satisfied, I imagine, with the way the guys played, the fight that they put up against that team. Obviously, there's outside noise going in that you guys didn't have a chance, this, that, and the other, but you guys made it hard for them each and every game. So when you look back at the series now, are you satisfied and happy and content with the fight that the guys put forth?
Yeah, I think that we gave them everything that they could handle. A couple bounces here or there. We're playing on Sunday, and once you get them to that sixth game here, bring them back home, it's a different beast. Unfortunately, we weren't able to accomplish that the other night in Medicine Hat, but I think that there's building blocks to this. I think we built a really good foundation, got a great experience for a lot of players, a lot of young guys in our lineup that played, that we expect to have, that will have that callus, for the next couple of years and playoff runs, and understand that as we do get better and add more skill to our lineup, and that you still need that commitment, that will, that survival mentality. That's what can win out in the springtime in hockey, and it's not always about the most talented team on paper.
We talked about after the last game here about just the playoff experience and how guys are adjusting, but now you look at next year's roster, you have 20 guys with playoff experience, not a lot of rookies that are going to have not seen it before.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Obviously, even with Liam and Max got to play a couple of games, obviously with their games that they've been playing, they're playing really important games right now too. So I think that right across the board, we've got we're just scratching the surface. This is but come next September 1st, it's not just expectations of playoffs. It's right across the board from our organization, the standard is going to be raised, and our players are going to know that. Our staff understands that going forward here, and now we want to just keep on climbing that ladder.
After that disastrous U.S. change around here? Were you worried? Were you concerned about your team? And what turned it around?
No, because I guess if you look at the 0-6, Dale, or Daryl, that's, I think when you look at it game by game like that, it can feel like that and it can feel overwhelming. But in the end, we should have won those first 2 games in the road trip. We just ran into goalies that played their best, one of their best games of the season. We didn't win those games. And then the next couple of games, we were playing with really shorthanded. Brown was out, Keats was out, and we need those guys. So I really looked at our lineup, what we had at that point. It's my job to keep on figuring out ways to win hockey games with that, and that keeps you in problem-solving mode, which I think, you can complain about it all you want or say poor me, but your job is to keep on trying to solve problems. And so we had a lot of big problems to solve that I don't think any team that could be solvable out of that road trip. Obviously, win the first 2 games, it's 2-4 instead of 0-6. So for us, when you kind of start breaking it down and looking at your process, looking at reasons why you won and lost those games, to me, I didn't feel like the earth was falling. I felt that if we had a healthy Keats, we had a healthy Brown, we're a different team, and that's what they're important to our team, and that's where we were with our depth.
Did you change or learn anything from that?
Oh yeah, I think that I've learned. I think this has been a really good experience for my whole hockey career. I think that winning does obviously help in everything, but I think that when you go through adversity, it really tests your character. And this is, I know for me, mentally, it's really tested me the last couple of years. Just staying focused on me. Obviously, criticism's always going to be there, but in the end, guys, we've been through a rebuild. What else did we expect it to be? To me, I think that we should be proud of where we're at right now. I think the foundation, we've hit a lot of individuals this year, had some career years. Team-wise, we've hit a lot of the goals we've set out for ourselves. Bare minimum was playing meaningful games down the stretch. And then we made the playoffs. Everyone can point to how you get to the playoffs or not. I don't even understand that question. There's 68 games, and the most teams with the points at 68 games get in. Doesn't matter if you win the last 3 or 4 or not win the last 3 or 4. And really, you look at a record from since after Christmas, we were one of the top teams in our, we're in the top half of our conference. We had a 500 record or better than half the teams in our conference. So I think there's lots of things that, to be proud of this year. And the biggest thing I think that Dale did is that we didn't sacrifice any of our draft capital for the future or mortgage any of that to attain our goal. So I think a lot of the people that we've been talking about having in-house people here, drafted people here for a long time. And I think that's what we've given our depth chart an ability to do that this year, where sometimes when you get to that 0-6, people start scrambling, people start making changes because that's the automatic answer or the easy answer. But we stuck through it. Dale believed in our group, challenged us as coaching staff to make sure we keep on coaching them up and coaching them better and making sure that they're getting better. And right across the board, we had guys have career years this year and without mortgaging any of the future. So I think that we've done a really good job as an organization to attain our goals this year. But once again, it's step one in this whole process of building back better and building now, setting the bar for the future. And now we got to start, next September 1st when we show up here. Now it's more about playing multiple rounds of playoffs.
It's a lot more stable this year. Was that easier to deal with? Didn't have to go to the airport and say who's coming in, who's going out?
Yeah, I think at heart I've always been a team guy, Daryl. So you need culture, you need longevity, you need for people to care about the Regina Pats. And we had almost 48 players play for us last year. That's 2 different teams. I don't know what the numbers are at this year, but it's going to be at 30, mid-30s. And that makes a big difference. Now we've got players that have been on our team for multiple years, and that makes a big difference of care and love that you give to the team. Otherwise, we were just, the last couple of years, and it was no one's fault. It's what we had to go through. It's what rebuilds are. We had a lot of people that were spare parts off other teams, that necessarily, that were just, it was what it was. And now we need to move on take the lessons what we've had for the last couple of years, apply them to what we're moving forward. But the biggest thing I think we've done is just raise the bar.
Going back to Game 5 there, you guys had lots of tight one-goal games early in the season. What was kind of the mood going into that overtime?
Well, going into overtime was just belief that we're going to win. Even going in after it was 4-3 going into the third period. What's the difference of the first period? It was 2-1. We're still a 1-goal lead in Medicine Hat. Will we not take that, boys? And I think as anything, it's just keeping it in perspective. It's, you can be overwhelmed by the moment because they scored 2 goals at the end of the period, and now you're feeling those emotions. Or you can really be, look at a big picture and be like, it's a 1-goal game. And we're leading, So I think it's stuff like that. Me as a coach have learned. We got to teach those to the players that you can't let the emotions dictate, your next shift. You need to let, the actual situation, the scoreboard, and staying level-headed to keep on moving forward.
What did you say to the veteran players like McNutt and Brown who won't be returning to the WHL now?
I think just thank you very much was the biggest thing. They're a big piece of, I wish they could be here for the next 2 years because, they're going to be really proud of what they started here because they're the people that when we got, they were older people last year. We had traded away a lot of our leadership and older people. And we thrust a lot of leadership responsibility onto them, and it's like a workforce, guys. All of a sudden 20 new people show up and you all of a sudden going to start clicking, you're also going to start going out for lunch. Like, that's not the way it works. It takes time, and it takes trust to build relationships, and as hockey players you're even more guarded because we all got silly egos for the pecking order of scoring goals and winning hockey games and all those things. So those guys really took the bull by the horn, and it was difficult. It wasn't always perfect last year, and we had to build on our culture because we had new people here and different people here and not people that were drafted by our team. But now when you look at it, you guys said earlier, we're going to have 15 players in here that are going to be back next year, and 15 players that are going to be with 3-4 years experience, or they've been drafted and developed here, and it makes all the world in difference. If you look at right across the board, that's what the model is. And unfortunately, we just had to take us 2 years. I would say this is our 3rd year of it. 3rd year is us building out a little bit pieces. Now it's into our 4th year next year. That's when things start to turn around, and unfortunately, that was a situation Al was faced with when he came here, and Dale took that over and did the best that he could, and we didn't sacrifice any draft capital to attain any of our goals, and I think that's something that is going to really bode well that, for when Maddox and Liam are coming of age. We didn't have that with Connor. We didn't have in-house Lancers and Classens and Keats Fawcett that it can be our best players and our leading scorers. Where Maddox, or when Connor came in at 16, is like automatic. Here's first line center. Here's first line power play, and not like those guys won't get that stuff, or they probably will deserve it and push for it. But it's we had to go out and make changes to our roster to surround him, and I think that we're in a better position now with our draft capital to be able to do those things without mortgaging the future.
How exciting is it now, having Liam and Maddox had some experience to kind of get to take them on full time next season and see what the future holds?
Yeah, I think it's so important because I've said since day one here with those guys, even asking the development question, to me it's about experience. Those guys are going to make mistakes, but once they make a mistake once or twice, they get it. And it's about timing. And look at right across the board, like the second half of the year, Maddox was with us for 6 weeks. He was a point per game player, but he was practicing every day with us. He wasn't going to that yo-yo effect. And, hats off to Pat C's and, Haji for what he did at that team this year, because I know for me it wasn't easy juggling it, and I can only imagine for him and what their group was with juggling it. And obviously what Liam and Maddox had to do, I think it's a very difficult task. There was no perfect model before us. We were the test dummies for it, and really this model I don't think was set for 2 people. I don't think they even thought that was a possibility because that, exceptionals or these things only are 1 person usually in a draft, and have 2 on 1 team. There was lots of logistical things that made it real difficult for everybody, but I think that we did the best we could to work between the 2 organizations, and obviously with them winning yesterday and them being part of it, them playing playoff games with us, I think that we did the best of our abilities to make that work.
Without bringing up such a bad memory of that bad bounce in the last game, when you look back at the series, are you satisfied with the fight that your team put forth against Saskatoon?
Really proud of our team. We know what everyone said going into the series, that we'd be lucky to keep the games close. I think we did more than that. That's really a tribute to the players and coaching staff, everyone giving their all, and we gave Medicine Hat all they could handle, so very proud of the team.
When you look at the roster and the makeup of it, the returning guys, now you have how many of our guys with playoff experience now versus those guys, that was their first taste. How valuable is that going forward?
Well, very valuable. I think actually from December on, we were fighting to get into the playoffs, which through that there are a lot of valuable lessons in games. Games are tight and you learn a lot about yourself as a player and the team. And then getting into the playoffs and just the atmosphere and how you have to play to be successful. It's a great experience for our players and will be very helpful next year.
Dale, after that disastrous road trip, were you tempted to make roster changes, coaching changes, any changes in this?
Like I said, same I talked about for the players when I took over, that I wanted a place that had some stability, where players felt comfortable, and that's the same for the coaches. I thought you look at most real good franchises that are successful, they tend to keep staffs and players and everyone together for a long period of time, and that's kind of what I wanted to do here coming out of the past 2 years, how there was a lot of turnover with the players and upheaval. I just wanted to settle things down, and that's something I think I accomplished this year.
Did you see a transition in the franchise, the on-ice guys and the coaches after that? What got them going so that they were so strong coming into the playoffs?
I don't know if I really saw a transition. I think it's just how I felt things should be run, right or wrong. I could be wrong on all of that. I just felt that I know how I would like things to be when I'm playing or coaching, and that is to give a nice environment where people come to work each day, feel comfortable, and feel like they're not looking over their shoulder every 2 seconds, go see the general manager. It was just a lot of turmoil the last couple of years, so that's what I wanted. I think I mentioned it sometimes, but I think it was just my natural feeling. I'm a rookie general manager. Okay, now I've got my 1 year under my belt, but I think being around hockey and working in management over the last 25 years, these are experiences I brought forward, and I just naturally, this is how I wanted things to go.
With that being said, the previous 2 years that was kind of necessary. How do you think it all has played out now?
Well, pretty good, I think. Like I said, I thought the natural step for this team, I said it in training camp, was to push to get into the playoffs, which we did. And then now the natural progression is to be a playoff contender next year and be higher in the standings. Now, if that all happened, we'll see. But I think it's a good progression, and I think things have gone the way they should have.
How excited are you for Madison, Liam, and seeing what they're going to be able to do for this organization in the next couple of years?
Yeah, obviously very excited. They're tremendous talents, and we saw them this year at age 15, what they can do. Imagine now they're going to come in ready to go. They're not coming in like most 16-year-olds, getting your feet wet up until Christmas and then taking off like a Mathis Paul, as we saw. It took him the first half of the year, and then second half he was pretty dynamic too. So we're looking for big things. We got a lot of good young players, I think.
This is just a stock question that we ask at the end of every year. Do you plan any changes in the offseason? Do you expect everybody to be back?
Are we talking players, coaching staff, everything? Yes. You know what? My job is to do what's best for the organization. So that will be now an assessment of everything. Starting right now, we're doing player exit interviews, go through all of those with the players, then talk with the coaches, take all of that stuff and speak with Gord Pritchard, and then on with Sean Semple. And from there, we'll see where we're going, if changes are going to be made or not. And the players' side, that's always, you're always looking to improve your team, right? That's part of the job, and that's my job, is to always look at everything and try and improve, whether it's the medical side, whether it's the travel side, what have you. At the moment, I'm just going through the process. Honestly, it's been crazy how we were going, and I thought it was going to be a break now that we aren't playing anymore, but it's not. It's very busy. Like we started with player exit interviews yesterday, and I went and watched the final of the regional, and then now we were here this morning, and we're halfway through the rest of the players that we need to talk with. And then it's on to the coaches. So busy. I can't say at the moment.
Does it feel stable, though, based on what you guys were able to accomplish? Going into last year, obviously there was more unknown, but now after what you guys were able to do, does it feel, is that maybe the right word, where you do have that stability?
I think so. I think you get that stability right now talking to the players. They feel good. They come in, we talk about the year. They have some thoughts, which I need to hear from them. I'm not around the dressing room all the time. And it's a real good feeling that they feel like we've accomplished something. We're moving in the right direction. So it's very exciting.
And just on the coaches, further to Daryl's question, do you expect all of them back next year?
Well, we know Ken Schneider is retiring, so he won't be back. And then we're going to go through our process just like the players. We have interviews here with the coaches coming up, and then I'll take my information from that. I meet with Gord Pritchard and then with Sean Semple, and we'll have a plan. I don't have anything right now for you.
How valuable has Ken been then? Kind of that wise kind of sounding board for, imagine, some of the younger coaches, some of the younger players. I imagine he's just been very valuable over the past few years.
Great man. Yeah, really good. I know age-wise, Ken and I are the same age, and you think you can't relate to the players, but it's not like that. Ken's a good man. He spends time with them. He's like a father, maybe to some of them. Very good man, and will be missed.
Ephram, your last game with the WHL and the Pats, just what emotions are you feeling right now?
Yeah, a lot of mixed. It was such a great ride, and there's definitely aspects of sadness and just kind of the missing of the boys setting in already, and it's tough. I think at one end I'm just really happy that I was able to have such great times in this league and looking forward to the future. But yeah, there's a lot of mix for sure. I'm real happy that I have another opportunity to keep pursuing the game of hockey, and on the other end I'm just going to miss the boys and miss all the memories I've made.
What does it mean to you to be such a big part of this rebuild and know that you left the team in a better place than when you came?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a great feeling for sure. Looking at how much potential this team has and all the young guys coming up, they're a real dialed-in group, and yeah, it's going to be great. Super cool to see Pusey and Schulte especially in a few years, and I hope that they can take this team to something special.
At the end of the series, obviously not the way you wanted to go out, but would you say you were overall happy with how the team performed?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a weird feeling to be happy with losing a series. It's definitely a strange thought, but I think going into it, we were always hoping to win, and I think a lot of people had other thoughts about it. A lot of talks about a sweep, and I think we were really pleased to get one win out of it, and especially a couple of those other games. We pushed them hard, and even that 8-2 game, I've talked about it before. It didn't feel like an 8-2 game, and I think we're pretty pleased that none of them were blowouts. That one felt like a blowout score-wise, but it certainly wasn't actually play-wise. So I think we're pretty happy that we were able to stress them out for a series and kind of put them on their heels. And good, all the best to them, though. Good luck to them.
You talked the other day about that U.S. road trip and how bad it was for you guys. How did you rebound from that? What turned things around after that?
I think really just sticking to it. The U.S. is always tricky, and it's a long trip. A lot of these guys aren't set to a long trip like that and haven't had that in the past. So I think just knowing that it's kind of uncharted territory for a lot of guys, and knowing that it's going to be difficult, and I think just coming back and sticking to it and not dwelling on the negative kind of parts of the road trip and just getting back to it, and we're able to squeeze a couple wins quick, and that kind of just got us rolling, I think.
This team had made a lot of trades and things over the past 2 years, including one for yourself. Did you think there might be changes after that trip? Were you guys worried about it as a team?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think there's always talks, always rumors and stuff, guys talking to other players and guys on other teams. I think that's just talk that's always going to happen regardless. But I think we tried not to, think of the what ifs and stuff like that. Although they're going to happen, it's not really possible to keep them out. But I think we wanted to stick with this group, and we truly believe that we were able to make playoffs, and as we did. But I think it was just a little hiccup and a tough road trip that can happen sometimes.
I believe there was an opportunity for you to be moved right at the deadline or earlier in the year. Why did you want to stay?
Yeah, tough question for sure. Yeah, I mean, some guys on their last couple of years want to go on a run, and I mean, I did too. I wanted to go on a good playoff run and finish off on a real high note. But you know, I think I look at it a little bit differently. It was a high note in a different regard. I was able to help a lot of young guys out and enjoy it with such a young group and see them progress, and it's going to be all worth it when I watch them win a championship in a few years.
I was going to say, as a now alumni, when you look back at this core, when you're watching them in 2 years, what are you going to look back? What are you going to look back on as your time with them to see that progression? Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be much on the ice, honestly. I think I'm going to think of a lot of the relationships I built and the bonding we've had and you know, just the fun times we've had. I think it's going to be so cool to see them kind of progress and excel, and again, hopefully they get to that championship level. But it's just going to be really cool to, you know, think back of the memories we've had together, and yeah, it's going to be special for sure.
What's the summer like for you now? Do you head down? When do you head down? Do you head down in time for September or what?
Yeah, I'll head back just before September, before first semester, and we'll do a little training. I'm not sure when regular season starts this year, but I'm lucky enough that they don't need me down in, you know, July or anything like that, so I can still enjoy my summer. And I'll be going back to Pinoca, Alberta, and then to Nova Scotia for a trip, and kind of bouncing around. Still enjoying my summers as much as I can. Yeah.
How dialed in were you on Bentley's season? They ended up having a really good season this year. How excited are you to join them?
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a great feeling, you know, seeing a team kind of at their high, coming in there. You know, historically a program who's done well, but they're really starting to pick it up as of late. And yeah, I think it's a pretty cool thing. You know, we're getting into playoffs, and they were going to the tournament, and yeah, I think it's really cool to kind of come into a team who's already so high. You know, the last couple of years I came in and to a team kind of during a rebuild and during some, you know, a little bit of darkness, as we all could kind of see. And I think going in when things are already high is going to be maybe a little bit easier.
Going back to the regular season, you guys were kind of in playoff mode coming down the stretch. Kind of what changed maybe going into these Medicine Hat games? Did you have a couple rough ones right at the end there?
Yeah, again, I think I just keep going back to it's just sticking with it. You know, I think that this group was so good at just letting things fly by. You know, you can dwell on a loss for a short amount of time and kind of you know, see what you need to change and see what you need to learn from. But I think just making sure it goes by quick is what we were so good at this year. You know, it kind of felt like we were playing playoffs the last 5 games or so because we needed those points. But yeah, I think going back to that, we just stuck with it, never really got too down on ourselves, and we're able to just focus and do well against Med Hat.
All right, yeah. So moving on from that, I'll quickly touch on the Patsies. You know, those other Pats players that are still playing. Big win for them on Sunday.
Yeah,
5-1 or 5-1, I think it was. But yeah, it kind of mirrored the final. You know, Moose Jaw had the big win in Game 4. Moose Jaw had the big win in the round robin. And the Patsies come back and finish it off in Game 5 and the final, the championship. It kind of
back to back.
Schultz with the early goal in both those games.
Yeah, for sure.
19 seconds in the final.
Only led the tournament scored with 9 points, 8 of them goals.
He had 2 goals every game, right?
Yep.
Like
literally. And the game against Thunder Bay, I don't think he played in the second half of that game.
Yeah, the first game. Yeah.
Yeah,
they needed a break anyways after playing two tough WHL playoff games, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, kind of the dagger goal was the 4-1 goal by Malin Wiley. You know, the other, you know, not so heralded Pats player with the C's.
The other Pat.
Yeah, the other Pat on the team. But yeah, he's hit some big goals, right? He had the overtime winner in Game 1, the final. So, But yeah, back to back regional champions. So off to the TELUS Cup. Maybe they can do a double there as well.
That'd be
So
wild.
that would be. And you said it doesn't start till not this coming weekend, but like next weekend sometime.
I think it's the next
or
weekend.
next
yeah.
week-ish into the weekend. Should have looked that up before mentioning
Before talking about it.
Yeah. What does it say here?
April 20th to 26th.
20th. Okay, so that's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so they get so it doesn't
A
start till
chance to
Monday.
rest. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get this
According
week off.
to the AI that's on the Googles, it says the 20th to 26th.
Yeah, no, I got it here too. 2026 in Peterborough. So
Peterborough,
yeah. So yeah, that's good for them.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good tournament. I don't know, save for that Thunder Bay game. I mean, they get in. It was interesting how it gets set up with them, and I can't remember the other team. There's two of
Kenora.
them. Kenora, that's right.
Kenora Thistles.
Thistles, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, and then the Patsies squeaked out the win over, what was it, Winnipeg Bruins, right?
Winnipeg Bruins, yeah.
So that was a tight one.
Oh, yeah. Tighter than it probably should have been. But
yeah, because if they lose that game, they don't make it to the final, right? Winnipeg does, so. But yeah. So that's can watch some hockey in a couple weeks here. Some more hockey. And then back to WHL. The first round's almost complete. We're talking to you is the game over yet? I don't know.
No, it's in overtime. Edmonton,
overtime.
Saskatoon's in overtime.
It should be starting right away. But yeah, that one's in overtime. Oh yeah, it's 3 minutes into overtime right now. But the bracket, not too surprising overall, right? Like we talked about it last show. Everett, Kelowna swept. Prince George got it done in 6 over Spokane. Penticton in 5 over Seattle. PA in 5 over Red Deer. It did take overtime in Game 5, kind of like Regina Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
So you got to give Red Deer some credit for bouncing back because they had a couple tough losses at the start of that series.
And
then Calgary 4 straight over Brandon with
Which
Ethan Moore.
that one surprised me.
4 straight, yeah, it did.
Two things with that. Rajitska played amazing for Brandon, and Ethan Moore, the game winning goal guy
in all 4 games. That's wild.
That's something I don't think has ever happened before. Definitely not the internet era.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's ever happened before.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like all 4 games in a series scored by the game winners by the same guy. Just that's mind blowing.
Yeah. Edmonton Saskatoon, like I said, Game 7. Kind of surprised by that a little bit, but not surprised. Like, Saskatoon, they were really up and down. Edmonton was up and down.
Yeah.
But I thought Edmonton would have handled them a little easier, but gotta give Saskatoon
Game
credit.
7 right now. It's as I say this, there's 14:50 left in the first overtime.
Yeah. So, but yeah, any predictions? Next round or two.
I have no predictions because I don't know much about the West teams.
Yeah, the Everett Kelowna. I want to see Everett
Penticton.
Kelowna, see how Kelowna stacks up, and obviously Everett's got the monkey on their back of the playoff success lately, right?
Well, I think Everett's built a little differently now, but definitely want to see how Kelowna stacks up, and want to see how Penticton goes in the second round because they won 4-1, first ever playoff victory round and stuff. So want to see how they do with their old timers on that team.
Yeah, they've got a solid team, right? So see what they can do, and then obviously with this game not over yet, we don't know how the bracket will play out on the East here. Saskatoon just took a penalty, so it'll be interesting. See how this plays out, but so it's not set. What else you got, Kevin? Anything else before we move on? We're gonna have a show here in the next few days. We're gonna have a few special guests on, and we'll do our season wrap up show as usual. So
that's about it for this one. Not much else to say.
yeah, just kind of disappointed after having no expectations. Kind of disappointed in how that ended, unfortunately.
It's weird to say. I'm disappointed, but
Yeah.
I'm happy that they were able to play well against Medicine.
Yeah.
Couple game scores did not look good, but every game they were in it.
Yep.
They had
And
the
that's
lead in many of the games.
yeah.
They just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. How well they played. I wish I would have seen a little more of that in the regular season, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
especially coming down the stretch there where, it was touch and go there to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
Edmonton just took a penalty.
Edmonton took a penalty now.
6:59 left or 6:59 into overtime. Edmonton just took a penalty.
Okay. So, interesting. Saskatoon killed off their penalty, so
Yeah.
now it's their turn.
Yeah, Edmonton just about scored, and then they ran over Gardner by accident, I think.
Oops.
Yeah, O'Neill got stopped, and then I don't know whoever 12 is for Edmonton. I didn't see who it was.
Gosick.
Yeah, ran him over.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so whatever happens, this game happens. We'll know in the future, but right now we don't. And yeah, that's it for now.
All I know is that it's going to be an interesting offseason. Well, I won't get into any of the details or anything like that because we don't know any of the details, but it should be interesting.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that.
The WHL draft is back merged together. No more American draft and stuff.
Right.
So it's
take
that's going to change the dynamic.
Canadians or Americans, whoever you
it's going to go back to the way it used to be.
Yeah.
So
when the Pats used to taking a lot of Americans.
Yeah. Oh, guess what?
Saskatoon scored.
On the power play in overtime.
Oh, there it is.
7:23 into overtime.
It's not even on here on the score sheet yet. So,
ouch! I'm just watching the
Calvert, Rowan Calvert.
I'm watching the game here as we're talking. So.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have the TV on. I'm TV less at this in this episode tonight.
Shot from the point, tipped in front by Calvert.
Oh yeah, nice.
Lewandowski just a wrister from the point, and Calvert with the tip, and Edmonton's done. Saskatoon moves on.
Okay, so it's going to be PA and Saskatoon in round one. Medicine Hat and Calgary kind of rivals here. So that'd be interesting. So now what are your thoughts now that we're in live time?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
I mean,
see what happens with Medicine Hat because last year, like I said, they lost their first game to, I think it was one of the first games against Swift Current. And then they went on and swept the next 2 rounds and then won the final in 5. So
yeah,
see if they can do that again, or
see what kind of fight Calgary can put up. I mean, be interesting to see. They kind of, like I said, swept away Brandon, but I mean, it was obviously 2 overtime games to begin with, the first 2, so that those could have went.
And that one was that was a triple overtime game, the first one. So they basically played 2 games in the first game.
And PA Saskatoon, that'd be interesting. Big rivals they've had. There's gonna be some massive crowds at those.
Not much travel either, which is going to be
for
both the teams. Yeah.
Or
the other side, all the teams.
The other side's got a little bit of travel, right? So, but yeah, I bet you the upper deck will be open in Saskatoon. That's for
probably because it's gonna be a pretty jam packed place, I would say.
Yeah, because they played last year or 2 years ago. It was a pretty good rivalry.
Yeah,
but either way, we should get out of here. We'll chat more.
We talked too long.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, we'll talk more about the off season and what's ahead for the Pats in the next one. So with that, we'll get out of here. Have a good night.
Take it easy.